All right, so welcome to another episode of Stock Talks from the Chart Readers. We are going to revisit the EV sector. So actually, this was one of my most viewed videos. So I hope you actually go back to the first one, maybe come back here, see what I said there, see what I said here. Honestly, I'm not going back, right? So everything you hear and say is very fresh. And I hope you're learning and doing well from these. So we are starting like we did last week, really, like I said, with the king of the EVs, right? We're looking at Tesla, right? Whether you like the stock, hate the stock, but you think of Elon, I really don't care. Tesla is the OG EV, right? For lack of words. I don't even know if that's actually true or not, but you know what I mean. So we will start here because a lot of ways, the way Tesla goes, the rest of the industry will go. So it actually looks like we are basically sitting within this channel that we drew last week, right? So that's actually happy to see. It does look like the lines, one, did what we expected, and two, looks like they held up, right? So let me zoom in a little bit. What we basically saw, because again, we did this roughly a week ago, right? So 1, 2, 3, we were about down here when we last did this video. So there was a couple positive things happening, right? It looked like we had broken all three of these lines, the 20, the 50, and the 8. We'd been trading over the 8 actually for 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 6 days by the time we made this video, give or take. So 5 to 6 days, whenever that exact day was. So it really was about two things. It was trying to break this line that we drew and really hopefully either break this line or break the next moving average line, which was the 100. The one thing I want to point out is the day when it looked like it was going to break the line, and it seemed like it happened early in the day, it exploded, right? So that's the power of drawing some pretty good horizontal lines, is if you know what you're doing, you could ride a break of a line pretty well. From there, clearly we got slapped down by this moving average, the 100, almost to the dollar, right? You can see we closed almost on the line, and then again, the last couple days failed. Nonetheless, a couple positive things to see. We're still over our line. We're still over the 8. And really, it doesn't quite look like it, but all this is still, I picked the wrong one, I've been using the straight line, but all that is still a pretty good uptrend, right? Even with that break today, there we go. We're still looking like this. You can almost draw it like that if you want to go to the wick, but nonetheless, a couple key things need to happen. We better not lose 773. We for sure better not lose, what number is this? 8 average is 76791, right? So you can just round it to 770. Don't close under 770. That would actually be really bad. From there, we might start working our way back down to these moving averages. I don't want to put too many lines here, right? Because what does end up happening is you can kind of overdo it. It becomes a lot more confusing than it is helpful, but I'm going to say, yeah, I like this a lot, actually. I think this is a good 4-step. So hopefully we keep bouncing in this channel, right? Hopefully either this line or the 8 is enough to maybe do one more attempt at the 100. Otherwise, I can see us now dropping into this. And really, this 700 line is pretty bad because we will end up losing all the moving averages that we just regained, right? So we really don't want to go. I can almost put a line right here. What does it look like if I draw it? That wouldn't be that bad a line. But again, I don't want to overdo it. So I'm gonna just keep it with this. But yeah, Tesla. It's weird. I would obviously stress caution, right? These last 3 days pretty much took a little more than 50% of the last big day, right? So, yeah, but again, a couple ways to play it. What really matters next is what I'm essentially calling 770. 770 is a in between of this line and the green moving average. So do not lose 770. Otherwise, I mean, I would foresee us dropping down closer to 700. So otherwise, though, the goal would be a bounce back up to break one of these two lines. So let's see what the moving averages look like. The lower indicators. MACD doesn't look great, but hey, look, two positives. Green is over the red, and we're over the 0 line, right? So I think a lot of that helped propel us over this little first hump. It seems like we might be kind of curving back down, but again, it's still looking positive as of now. And then RSI, unfortunately, does not look well. But hey, look, I mean, we literally almost hit 80, right? So in some ways, it's okay to let the RSI cool. And really, this seems to be about the average that we're kind of sitting at, around 55, right? So overall, it's not great. Obviously, red is over green. But yeah, I could see this just being a little bit more of letting the stock cool down more than anything. But again, I'm going to make a NASDAQ video soon. The NASDAQ could be a little troublesome, and obviously you can't beat the market, right? So be very, very cautious of the market conditions. All right, so Mullen. I'll be honest with you, I was a little negative the last time I talked about Mullen on the video, and I actually got a comment from someone on YouTube. Again, I really appreciated that because that was my first real one that wasn't spam. But Mullen, I mean, look, I was negative about it, and you can see why. I mean, since I've made this video, again, it was about a week ago, a little more than a week ago, we haven't been over the 8 in literally only one day out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 trading days, only one of them, so 10, because I don't think I counted that one, right? That's not good. You need to get over the 8, right? That's the very, very minimum requirement. And this thing is now headed back to what could be all-time lows. I'm going to make a couple lines down there, but this one I only needed to draw one line, right? And at the time, it was actually well below even all of the moving averages, because again, I need some sort of, aside from just a couple good days, I need some confirmation, right? I keep stressing that, and Mullen really hasn't done much since, again, the power days, right? Like there was definitely a lot of fast money made on Mullen, and it's not showing any reason to do it again, you know? And again, that's short term, right? A lot of people are saying, hey, you're getting into an EV car company at under $1, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, I see all the posts and stuff, right? I'm literally talking about short-term swings here, right? So, but really, what do I see happening? I think we already lost this, right? But this now becomes the next real big one to break. You got to get back over this one. And really, let me just zoom out. Yeah, I mean, geez. What does this one look like? Yeah, I'll put that there for sure. And then this will be the last one. Look, Mullen, people, I'm telling you, I wish every single stock went up. Believe me when I say that. I'm not even drawing lines over 122 because again, this thing can go silly, but you need to give me a reason to even just believe it'll go up there, right? So I think just these 4 are more than enough for Mullen for now. So hey, this one has meme power. I'm more than aware of that. But again, with the NASDAQ looking conditions and just the fact that we're not even close to the 8 and haven't been anywhere near the 8 in a while is just, you know, a little worrisome. And I just realized it. I'm not going to lie to you. Today was a fat loss. It was over 10%. So no buenos. Let me zoom in a little bit, sorry. So look at that. Look, this is actually one of the worst MACDs I think I've seen in the last 2 videos. I made an oil and energy one a little bit before. And again, both of them are pretty much showing the same thing. Mullen's not looking... Mullen needs some meme power to bring this thing back. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, we're kind of... 75 cents seems very realistic. I know my line's at 78, right? But you can call it 80 cents. I think 80 cents is a little more realistic at this point than $1.22. So what number is this? Let me just call it out. 87, so 90 could, and that's kind of where we're at, but 87 could be a bounce point. But again, I actually went with this lower one instead of this one. So be safe out there with Mullen. Mullen, I know a lot of people are a little more emotional on this one than they should be, but you got to listen to the lines. I'm going to show it one more time. It's literally one of the worst ones where the MACD is clearly red over green, and green looks like it's working its way downward pretty hard. And then same thing, that RSI is looking like a slope down. So Mullen needs some help. Mullen needs some help for sure. LIDR, L-I-D-R. You know, this one is very sad actually, right? It looked like it was going to make the break. It just never got over this first line, right? And again, like I said, if you know how to work these lines, you can be pretty deadly. So, you know, you want to see some confirmation, and you want to see an important break before you start putting in dollars. Otherwise, you can find yourself, trapped in a hole, right? Holding a bag. There's so many different little comments for it. But yeah, it never got over 246. It looked like it might have, then it just didn't, right? So, and then clearly the last 3 days we've been trading under the 8, under the 20. I don't think I made any lines under. I didn't, right? Because I'll be honest with you, we were hoping that it was going up, and from what I remember, the indicators are looking good too. But again, there's gonna be a roof, right? And if you can find the roof and you can establish what needs to get broken before you get in, you can do yourself pretty well. So this one's a really easy one. We don't want to go any lower than this place right here. Have we already gone lower than this? I mean, we're pretty much sitting there. I'll put it on this guy. So yeah, let's not lose 190, right? Just the next whole number. Otherwise, yeah, 170, right? I mean, yeah, and really I would imagine this could be the next one. So here's a nice little step pattern here for LIDAR, either a couple lines up, couple lines down. But yeah, really sad, right? I mean, 246, if it broke 246, it could have made a nice little run to 3 for sure, right? And that's pretty much what we drew here. It just never got over. And you know what? That's how stocks work, right? There's a lot of reason to believe that it will, but if you can set some rules, you can save some dollars. That is very much for sure. So yeah, did we look at these down here? I don't think we did. MACD doesn't look bad. It looks better than Mullen, I'll tell you that. Again, no offense to Mullen. RSI actually looks like it might be trying to curve back, right? So something to watch for all. Maybe this what line are we on? The 180, 189, 190 line might be a nice little place to bounce. But hey, I mean, let's get back over this green, right? It kind of makes this 211 number this line a little stronger. If we can break 211, we should get back over the 8 as well. Let me take a quick sip of water, excuse me. EvGo. EvGo. Did I draw lines? Did I not draw lines on EvGo? Oh my. Okay. So EvGo made a nice little climb, actually. Look at this bad boy, right? So when did we make this video? About five days ago, give or take? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we were somewhere, I don't exactly know exactly where we were, and I don't know why I didn't draw lines here. That's a little annoying, actually. Nonetheless, and I'm zooming out. Yeah, I really didn't draw any lines. That's really annoying. So what is happening here, right? I'm gonna draw some lines in this cluster here, I imagine, but clearly we never even got to this 100 and 200 kind of combo, right? So you'll always hear me say it's really hard to break one moving average above. It gets even harder when two of them kind of stack together like this 100 and 200 are. This especially when they're even this close. Again, it's not an easy thing to get over both, right? So again, it made a very nice climb. Look, if anyone watched this thing go from basically 6 all the way to about 9, you've made a nice 50% climb, right? And really, you did that riding the 8 all the way up, essentially, as you broke the 20 and the 50, right? That said, once you lose 100% of 2 candles in one day, that is a pretty bad sign, right? This one was clearly the biggest in the area, and you can see once we were like basically going to lose it, it gapped down even hard, right? So where are we at? We're now 2 days under the 8, so that's very bad, right? And we've now lost the 50. Hopefully this 20 catches it and it bounces up. Again, I keep echoing the NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ looks like, NASDAQ had a nice run up, and so did these tech stocks, right? Some of them more than others, but as the NASDAQ slows down, you should see some stuff slow down, right? Look at that. MACD, again, was killing it during the ride up and clearly looks like it's about to turn back. So signs look like EvGo will be slowing down. Same with the RSI kind of below, right? And look how high the RSI got to 81, right? Like I said, the max is generally around 80 for an RSI. So that could have been another good sign of, hey, I should probably get out if I'm getting such a nice climb and I'm finally at 80. Hey, do your thing, right? Cool. EvGo. EvGo might be EV slowing down. VLDR. So, Velodyne LIDR. So this is another LIDAR tech. Obviously, we looked at LIDAR, which was its own ticker, right? Again, same basic thing happened here. It didn't get as close, but look, we never got over our line, right? It looked like it wanted to. Man, it got pretty close, but yeah, there was obviously a few cents away from making it, and then it failed pretty hard, right? And look, again, once you lose a full candle like that's generally a bad sign. I'm never a fan of seeing that, right? So it's a lot of hard work to go up, and you're going to tell me we're going to lose it all in the next day? Come on now. Not a big fan of that. So, but yeah, again, make some rules, right? Tell yourself, hey, we need to get over this line before I'm going to put in $1, and you'll be surprised how much you'll save if you can stay. Believe me, it's hard. I'm a human. I'm a little greedy, little gambler too. I get it, but try to set some rules, right? We never got over our line, and that's not good. Look, I'll tell you this much. It'll be really bad if we... What number is this? Give me a second. It'll be really bad if we lose 96 cents. And I mean, we're right there. No, it's like 95. It might be 96 and just a matter of like a bunch of digits after, right? So it would be bad if we go below there, because then I have to... Oh, man, we're going to make new all-time lows if we lose that line. That's just, it's simple as that. So, yeah, VLDR. There's really not a lot of good news here, so... Hey, MACD doesn't look bad. We'll at least say that. Oh, actually, RSI looks like it might be. Okay, so look, hopefully, this last line decides to say, hey, I don't want you to make new all-time lows, and maybe it gives it a little bounce back up for a second attempt. But, again, do not lose this line. That will be real bad. I'm going to draw one more line. This little, like, cluster here looks like we should at least highlight it. That's probably the next entry break. I would say at least get over $1.04, maybe $1.05, right? Hold $1.05, and you might be able to run to $1.20, give or take. I don't know what that number, right? This might stop you here. But hey, even $1.04 to $1.10, you're still gaining some really good percentages, right? So don't underestimate really good percentages if there. But again, it has to do a lot of important things before you even do it. And one of them is break 104, right? So yes. And then the last one, the last man standing is solo. That was a pretty bad pun, but I hope you enjoyed it. So it looks like it did not. So again, kind of the same thing that happened with the last few, right? We set our rule at get over 156. It didn't, and you know, it wanted to. You can see it wanted to, but yeah, it just didn't, right? So it does look like we've now failed this 50. The 20 caught us. That's nice. So let me draw a couple lines here. John at the very bottom. I like this guy. It's a good little outlier here. Good. Okay, we'll leave that there. Actually, that's almost it, right? I guess I'll put one here too, just to not overkill it. I think this is a pretty good stack here. So, yeah, this is a pretty good up and down that we're looking at, but really it looked like that 50 slap down wasn't good. And again, we never got over our initial line number, right, to kind of give us the reason to believe we'd keep going up. So, MACD is pretty much on that zero. The green is still over the red, and it's actually on the zero. Again, zero is still better than negative, but I rarely talk about the numbers, right? It's more about what the lines actually look like, kind of the slope and how far off green and red is. And again, RSI looks like it wants to pick up, but look, we've seen it kind of do this little tight thing, right? So, yeah, overall, a lot of these EV stocks will very much move along with the NASDAQ, so make sure you're watching the overall markets. And I hope you learned a lot about the lines. Like, obviously, I didn't draw the lines on my oil and energy one, right? I do regret that a little bit, but I'm glad to see that I was able to go back from a week of stuff. I hope you know that I didn't practice this before I made this video, and kind of connect the dots and show you what we're trying to look at. And now that I drew more, I hope I found a good balance of not too confusing, not, you know, drowning in a sea of lines, but just kind of giving more that step up and step down that potentially should happen. So I'll review these in roughly a week. I do want to add a couple other categories, so I'll figure out the cadence, but be safe out there. There is zero advice. There's no financial advice at all. There is no advising to buy at all. Just, learn how I'm using these lines, right? And again, I'm not really using this to make my money. Like Move, I look at something called the one. We're looking at the chart readers here, right? So look at the stack of lines. But yeah, I hope you're learning. More videos will be coming regularly.